Hey, it's Magnus here, and today we are going to talk about two things. We're going to talk about my flaws and why I feel it's important to share them with you. And secondly, we're going to talk about this workshop and getting some equipment in here finally, because it's still empty. Renting this workshop, but it's empty. So first of all, we're going to talk about this workshop. The plan is to take the water jet cutter over here. Now, just in case you've missed what the water jet cutter is, here it is right here. The water jet cutter. Right, so now you know what it is. Big red tank, pump next to it, and a PC component. Now, our plan, so we have this workshop. Let me give you a bit of a tour of it. So this is me going out to the front door here. The light is going to go to hell here, but this will give you an idea of it. So that's the big front door. Okay. We have a couple of sort of office places here, upstairs, downstairs. Don't need to know about those just now. And basically it's a fairly long unit. Now, it's not as long as it looks. I know for a fact this wide angle lens will make it look way deeper and way bigger than it is. So knock what you see down by about 50%. This machine here is my very expensive mistake that I've talked about in previous videos. So let's just ignore that just now. Pretend that isn't there, okay? So we'll ignore that and that component part of it as well. So we need to take the water jet cutter here. Now, if you look over here, we want access in and out. We've got a trailer, we're going to have stuff coming in and out. If we get some titanium delivered, that's going to be coming in and out. So we need access there. So that rules that entire area there, rules it out for putting the water jet cutter. Now, we have this little room in here. Too small. Way too small for the water jet cutter. Plus, it's got plasterboard in it, plaster walls. The water jet cutter will spray water. It's not if, it's when. That's the way it works. So we need to allow for that it's going to spray water and that it's going to, little bits of grit and garnet are going to go everywhere. We got this cupboard here. Definitely too small. So what we have left is kind of, see if we can get a better view, we can have this area up at the back, which would be ideal, if not for a reason I'll tell you in just a moment. And then we've also got kind of this area here, where we could put it, except, and that leaves this all free for access in and out with the trailer and car, van, whatever. Now, the important thing about the water jet cutter that I've learned from the other workshop is that it has to be completely enclosed, because you get a fine layer of garnet, the grit that sort of, the sand that does the cutting. If you don't enclose it, it goes up into the atmosphere somehow, I don't know, and it ends up covering everything, every flat surface with a layer, and it's very frustrating. We didn't realize it when we first started, using it. We didn't realize it, and so there's a fine layer of grit everywhere. So we have to keep things covered. We have to keep the titanium that we've just tumbled covered. It's very frustrating. So we want to start afresh here. That's the great thing about coming here, is we can start afresh. So we want to have it completely enclosed, roof as well. So most likely, some sort of wood and wood. That's the limit of my knowledge of joinery. My dad's going to help out and do that side of things. He's built all sorts of stuff, all sorts of things like that. He knows about that kind of thing. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this is like the ideal location for it. We've got a wall there already. We just need to put a front wall, because we've got a wall. We just need to put a front wall and a cover, like a roof on it, a ceiling should I say, and then that would be entirely enclosed. But here's the big problem with that. There is no water supply or water runoff. The nearest water supply is over here. This is the sink, this is where it's plumbed in. So we'd have to run pipes and water over here, and we also have to have like some sort of runoff, and the runoff's tricky because, you know, obviously you need like a constant downslope, so we'd have to take it from the water jet level, which is about, you know, like here, you know, up to about just below my waist, and that would have to come down slowly to that sink over there. You know, so you know, all of a sudden by doing that we're cutting holes in this nice unit. We're messy. So that really only leaves this area for it, which it's okay, it's perhaps not ideal, it's a nice little area to work. I can, like, this seems to be the natural place that, you know, we could do tumbling and things like that. But I think we're gonna have to like sort of build a wall up this side, build a front wall here, along to here, and then build a sort of wall into there, and then, you know, of course a ceiling as well. So it kind of writes off that whole area, but that's fine. The water supply's there, the runoff is there. The other thing with the water jet cutter is it can't be open. Like we have to put like a little lip on the enclosed area, because the machine, as you've seen in previous videos, it develops leaks every so often, and if you're in the middle of cutting and it develops a leak, like there's nothing you can really do. Like, you're not going to stop. If we're in the middle of cutting tweezers and there's a little bit of a leak and it's going drip, 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 or even more than that, we're not doing anything. We're ploughing on, we're cutting tweezers, we're keeping going for another 50 hours as long as the drip isn't too bad. It's just so much more efficient to do it that way. So there's going to be water, so we need to sort of have the area enclosed. So unfortunately, like, we can't use that place at the back where we don't have to put like one wall and a ceiling. We're going to have to make 3 walls and a ceiling. I assume it's a bit of a hassle. My dad assures me that it's a lot more work. I take his word for it. But at least it's enclosed, that's the main thing. And we can still access all the way up here. Most likely we'll have to do tumbling. I don't know yet, but the water jet cutter over here is the main thing. Now there's another thing that we learned in the previous unit. If you look back in the other videos, you'll see, if you like look in the background, I'm always like, when you're watching these videos, I'm like, oh, please don't look at the background, please don't look at the background, because you'll see things and you'll see like there's a coat of really heavy, dark, basically black dust. And it's not that it's just like we're so messy that we just never, you know, we never clean anything ever. It's that whenever we've done grinding in the past, it just gets everywhere. Like, everything's coated in this layer of dust, and we realize when we do grinding, and by that I mean like a little sander and grinding a bit of titanium, or doing a lot of, maybe sanding of sheets if we can't do it outside that day. There's a layer of, titanium dust, or grinding dust from the sandpaper, and that's a real problem. In this new unit, like I said, we're starting fresh, completely. So I'm not quite 100% sure how to do it, but we're going to have to make sure if there's any grinding or sanding or anything like that done, it's completely enclosed, separate to this main area. So I was considering this room here perhaps would be like the grinding room. So we just accept that the inside is going to get kind of dirty. The light's not very good in here. Oh, there's a light bulb. Where? There's no way to switch it on. Oh, here we go. Behind the door. So there we go. Right, it's still not that bright. So this is this little room here. So we're thinking this could be the grinding room. We just accept that it's going to get kind of filthy. We'll figure out some sort of ventilation system. But at least that would be the grinding, completely secure in there. No black horrible dust going to get over everything like in the current workshop. Very frustrating environment to work in, but we deal with it. Water jet cutter would be there. completely sealed off, which leaves the rest of it for the nice clean washing, tumbling, working with, perhaps packaging operations. So yeah, that's pretty much the plan so far for this. It's going slowly, but Dad and I have been working really hard. We're on top of the work, but Dad and I are at a point where I think we can just, we've got a couple of weeks, we can just get this done. Right, next up, I think we'll talk about some of my personality flaws and why I think it's important to tell you them. Let's go upstairs. I hopefully come across as who I am in real life in these videos. Like, I don't try to sort of pretend I'm something I'm not, or at least I try to be aware that I'm not. But there is always that risk that I don't, because you only see 5 to 10 minutes of, what is, essentially through the day, a 16, 17 hour day. I'm awake 17 hours, you only see 5 or 10 minutes of it. So, of course, you can't get the ideal, you perhaps don't get the accurate picture of sort of who I am. The reason I want to talk about it, it's a genuine reason, is I just watched a video recently on YouTube by someone who's like a YouTube creator. He helps other people. This guy just put a video out and it was on the topic of para relationships. Now, I'd never heard that term before. A para relationship is like a one-way relationship. Anyone on YouTube who's doing videos, all the people who sort of watch the videos know all about that creator, but that creator knows nothing about all the people watching his videos, if that makes sense. So you're watching me, so you know all about me, or at least some things about me, but I don't really know anything about you. And his premise was that there was, it can create sort of, like, the audience can get an inaccurate picture of what that person's like. Now, I try to avoid that, but it's probably easier said than done, to be honest. I mean, that's just sort of, so since I watched that video last night, I thought, I think I'd like to share my flaws and that I'm not perfect with you, but I don't know if I do it enough. So what I thought I'd cover is a few of my flaws. I have many, but if I share a few with you, at least I know I've done my part to make sure that I'm not trying to come across, or I'm not accidentally coming across as like this amazing person that does no wrong. There's so many flaws to choose from, actually. Like, let's say flaw number 1. I don't deal with tiredness very well. Like, I try to get 7 or 8 hours sleep every night, because if I'm a bit tired, I get ratty, and I'm not very good at not being ratty. I'm better than I used to be, but still a lot to go. So yeah, I'm not like the greatest person to be around when I'm tired. It depends how stressed I am at the time, but still, that's a flaw. I try to get my rest just for the sort of health, safety and well-being of other people. Now, I know I come across as completely enjoying what I do, making these videos, designing new products, making products, I really do enjoy it, but I don't enjoy it 100% of the time, because, and I'm sure I'm not alone here, I go through phases where I go, what am I doing? Like, I question what I'm doing, what I'm even doing in New Zealand, what I'm doing making titanium stuff, what I'm doing like making these videos, and the confidence goes. I'm like, I shouldn't be doing this, should I? Like, it's maybe not a flaw, but it's maybe like a safety mechanism. But certainly, like, I do enjoy it all the time, but there's times where I'm just like, I don't want to do this because I don't even know what I'm doing here. Like, so definitely, while I'm a positive person and certainly come across in that in the videos, I definitely don't put in as much of that as I should do. Like mornings where I wake up and I go like, I've got all this work to do, I've had enough, It's a harsh thing to say, but it's true, it really is. But I don't think anyone's immune from that. The other one I really struggle with is not eating rubbish. Like, I love cookies just beyond belief, and I go through phases where I eat really healthy, and then I'll eat garbage, and then healthy, and then garbage, and I might do some walking and you know, maybe lift some weights, and then I won't for months on end. And if you look back through my YouTube videos, you'll see right now I'm kind of like, I don't know, 10 kilos heavier, or 15 kilos or whatever it is heavier than I would have been like a few months ago. So if you like go and look at my previous YouTube videos, you see my face is a bit thinner. I've put on weight recently, and you know, honestly, I do struggle with that. Like, I was really overweight when I was a kid. I kind of lost a lot of it when I went to university, kind of, but it's been up and down, like, and so flawed there as well. Another one is that I lead quite kind of like not a lonely existence, but a kind of solitary existence. You know, like, I talk to you and hopefully it comes across well, it seems to, but I don't have like friends as such. I know quite a few people, especially in the town where I'm from. You know, you just get to know them. I frequent cafes, so you know, you get talking to the staff, to the people that come in. I've had to deal with business owners around there, you know, for whatever needs are. But in terms of friends, like, last night was Friday night. I did nothing. I went on the computer. Night before that, computer. Every night this week, computer, or you know, I go for a walk as well. Last weekend, Friday, Saturday, did nothing. Like, I don't go out and do something. Like, I'd like to, but it's like I haven't structured my life in that way. Like, I feel like fairly antisocial, and that I don't have very good social skills. Like, I'm better than I used to be, but still feel like a monkey that needs to evolve a bit more. I don't know, but yeah. So while the titanium and talking to you and all that is exciting, I think that's about as social as I get, really, and it's something I'm trying to get over, so, or try and work through, or trying to get past. I want to, you know, I want to spend a bit more time with other people and things like that. So definitely flawed there. Like, my head's in work all the time, or most of the time. Man, that's just the tip of the iceberg for my flaws. I think I could go on all day, but I've got to go and have lunch. So I'll leave it at that. Hopefully that gives you a better idea of who I am, and that I'm not this person who, you know, talks to you 5 or 10 minutes a day with the highlights of my day, and that I am as flawed or more flawed than most other people out there, which I probably am, but that's okay. I just want to try and be real. That's the main thing. Right, catch you tomorrow.